It seems that everyone is more interested in the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge than in the S7. But it is almost the same flagship device, or isn't it? This is Linus, you're watching TechLineHD. Learn more in the full Samsung Galaxy S7 review. Just before we start, make sure to check out my full Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge review, and I will leave a link down below the video. Samsung continues its design language and it uses glass and metal in the phone's construction. The device feels nice in the hand, and that is thanks to the curved glass edges on the back and a compact 5.1 inches display. Speaking of which, Samsung continues the trend of 2K resolution panels, and what we have here is a bright, super sharp, vivid and vibrant display that is one of the best in the business. Samsung brags about their kind of new feature, the always-on display, but it is actually pretty cool. Basically what it does, it shows the clock, calendar, notifications and some other usual stuff. With the Samsung Super AMOLED display, the phone can light up individual pixels as required, so to display the time and notifications takes very little power at all, and I could barely notice the impact on the battery. Just above the display, we have a notification LED, a 5-megapixels camera, and some other usual stuff. The physical home button doubles as a fingerprint scanner, which is fast and accurate. I don't want to repeat myself all the time, but the fingerprint reader does not work straight from the standby mode as on some other phones. Anyway, we have nicely backlit capacitive keys next to it. A 12-megapixels camera with dual pixel technology, optical image stabilization, face detection autofocus, and a bright f1.7 aperture takes some awesome pictures, but more on that later on. Right next to the main shooter, we have a single LED flash and a heart rate monitor to help you with your fitness goals. The button layout is comfortable and the keys are easy to reach. The power button is on the right and the volume keys are on the left. Samsung thought that the market is not yet ready for the USB Type-C part, and they stick with the regular part. Not only the charging part but also the headset jack don't have any flaps despite the fact that the phone is waterproof. IP68 rating lets you use the phone for no more than 30 minutes up to 1.5 meters underwater. Just make sure your phone is fully dry before charging it up. Even though the micro USB part has an embedded moisture sensor, Samsung advises to fully dry your phone before charging. You probably don't want to mess up your investment. Samsung has finally brought the micro SD card slot back with the new Galaxies, but unfortunately, the current state of software does not support Android 6.0's adaptable storage. It means that you cannot merge the internal storage with the micro SD card storage. Anyway, you can move most of the apps to the micro SD card. I could not understand why, but Samsung ditched the Air Blaster, so you won't be able to control your devices at home. All in all, nothing much has changed in terms of the design except for the fact that we have curved edges on the back, which actually help with the grip. A great thing is that the camera does not protrude that much, but the phone is slightly thicker than last year's Galaxy S6. A bad thing is that the Gorilla Glass panel attracts fingerprints and smudges very quickly. When it comes to the user interface, we have Samsung's TouchWiz, which is built on top of Android 6.0 Marshmallow. In short, the performance of the user interface is fast. The transitions, animations, opening, closing and switching between the apps is fast and fluid. We have some features that we've seen on other Samsung phones for quite some time now. Just to name a few, you can run two apps simultaneously or open up the app in a pop-up window. There are quite a few quick settings toggles, and you can also quickly access some other apps. For example, if you double-click the home button, you can launch the camera straight from the standby mode. In addition, we have some customization options. You can choose from a variety of themes from a dedicated theme store, change the wallpapers, fonts, and so on. We also have some pre-installed Samsung's apps like S Health to help you track your exercise routines, and we also have the S Voice, which allows you to control your phone with your voice. Hi Galaxy, open camera. All in all, I'm happy with the way the UI works. I didn't have any lags or stutter, and that's what matters most to me. However, the TouchWiz uses over 7 gigs of internal storage and takes quite a lot of RAM. While it's not a deal breaker, but it shows that TouchWiz needs a little bit more polishing. You have to keep in mind that the Galaxy S7 comes in 2 different hardware modifications. On the other hand, you can be rest assured that either of them will have the flagship grade specifications. I have an international model and it sports an octa-core Exynos 8890 chip with a maximum clock speeds of up to 2.6 GHz, 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of expandable storage. You may have already guessed it, the Galaxy S7 is just a beast. No matter what you throw at it, it will handle it without a sweat at the highest graphics settings. I played a few different games and the experience was great. The graphics looked stunning and everything worked absolutely fine. In addition, there is a dedicated Game Tools app that provides some convenient features like the ability to turn off the alerts during the game or record the gameplay. One of the great features of the new Galaxy phone is that it uses liquid cooling system and it works very well in practice. The phone did not heat up at all even after 30 minutes of gaming. I really enjoy the quality of sound via earphones as it was well balanced, had a lot of depth and volume output was loud. As for the loudspeaker, it is not bad but not the best either. The main problem is that the sound is a little bit muffled and that is due to waterproof properties of the speaker. Anyway, I prefer having a waterproof phone and slightly worse loudspeaker is not a deal breaker to me. I will soon release an in-depth camera reviews of the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge with lots of camera samples and in-depth app reviews, so stay tuned for that. In short, we have the typical Samsung camera app that has some settings and shooting modes to play with. Most importantly, the app is fast and responsive, and yeah, the dual pixel technology is working great. The autofocus speed is really fast. As you may have already guessed, the Galaxy S7's camera can produce some stellar images with a great amount of detail, sharpness, accurate color reproduction, great dynamic range adjustment, and exposure. Just keep in mind that the camera uses a native 4:3 aspect ratio, meaning that the images will not be full screen if you shoot at the maximum resolution, and that is quite a disappointment. Last year's Galaxy S6 had a 16-megapixel 16:9 sensor that could take some brilliant widescreen pictures, and this year's Galaxy sounds like a downgrade in this department. Anyway, the indoor shots look very good too, despite a lower amount of lighting. Sure, the level of detail may be lower, but still, the images are one of the best I've seen. The night shots are quite impressive. Naturally, the level of detail is lower and the noise levels are higher, but the images still look great. We can see quite a mature post-processing, which leads to the pictures that are really nice to look at. However, the camera is not perfect. As I've already mentioned in the S7 Edge review, some of the shots suffer from a slight yellow tint. The front-firing camera takes great-looking selfies in almost any light, and that is thanks to a bright f1.7 aperture. Both 1080p and 4K videos look stunning. The footage is sharp and very detailed, the optical image stabilization does its job very well, and the videos are one of the best I've seen. All the connectivity options that include Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS are working fine. Also, the signal reception is excellent and the call quality is good. The Galaxy S7 has a 3000 mAh non-removable battery, and that is a decent upgrade over the last year's model. The battery performs great despite using the phone quite intensively. I could get over 6 hours of screen on time despite using the always-on display feature, which actually uses 1% of the battery per hour. My usage involved browsing the web, checking emails and social media, a little bit of gaming, making some calls, watching YouTube, and taking some pictures. Keep in mind that I used the phone with the auto brightness feature on. It's worth mentioning that the phone supports fast charging feature. The device fully charges in 1 hour and 15 minutes. If you don't care about the fastest battery top-up times, the embedded wireless charging feature is really cool. So here it is, the Galaxy S7, one of the best phones Samsung has to offer. The device sparks a great design and build, it uses some premium materials in the construction, and it is a compact phone due to its 5.1 inches display. Speaking of which, it is actually one of the best we've seen. The user interface has plenty of features and customization options, but most importantly, it runs fast and fluid. Also, the phone has enough processing power to handle anything you throw at it, and it does not have any overheating issues. The camera takes some brilliant looking images, the battery life is great, the always-on display feature is really convenient, and finally, the phone is fully waterproof despite not having any annoying flaps to protect its parts. However, while the camera is one of the best we've seen on any smartphone, the native 4:3 aspect ratio disappoints. Also, the microSD card slot is a great feature that was brought back by Samsung, but the current state of software does not support adaptable storage, meaning that you won't be able to merge the SD card storage with the internal one. Also, the TouchWiz uses over 7 gigs of internal storage, and that is quite a lot. The Galaxy S7 is a flagship phone and it does not come cheap. You may get it for around $700 US without a contract, which is a premium price for a premium phone. All in all, the Samsung Galaxy S7 is a great all-around device and it is one of the best the money can buy. It has the looks, processing power, and a feature set that allows us to call it one of the best smartphones of 2016, despite the fact that it has a few shortcomings. It was Linus, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as more videos are coming soon. Also, drop me a comment down below the video and follow TechLineHD on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. See you in the next video soon.